Good evening, students. Today we are going to talk about prepositions and how they can really help you in your daily work. And when you are speaking or when you are using, how they are going to really make a difference in your way of expression. It is really very important. When we are talking about prepositions, let's first know what preposition is. Preposition, and where are we going to use it? We are going to use prepositions before a noun. Now, what is the preposition? Like, for example, or what the name itself suggests that it is a preposition of what? Of the subject or the object. Now, let us see the thing. Like, the cat is sleeping under the cot. When we say this word, we use the word under. Now, what are we talking about? The position of what? Are we talking about the position of the cot, or are we talking about the position of the cat? That is really very important. So, let's check. Now, a preposition is a word that indicates a relationship between a noun and the other words of a sentence. They explain relationships of sequence, space, and logic between the object of the sentence and the rest of the sentence. They help us understand order, connections, and positions. When we say the cat is sleeping under the cot, we are talking about the position of the subject with the object. Now here the subject is number one noun and the object is again a noun, so that is also a noun. So therefore, by using a preposition under, we are basically talking about the position of the cat with the cot. Okay, so let's have an example here. I am going to Canada. Where are you going? To Canada. Now here to talks about the destination. Now Alex threw a stone into the pond. We generally see people using in the pond, but it is basically into the pond. That is, we are using a compound preposition here, so that we have to, in and to. Just not in, but it is also going into the bottom of the pond is what is to be expected. She is staying in Chennai means she's staying somewhere in Chennai, but she is going, you don't say she is staying into Chennai. Understand? So we need to have this subtle differences. We need to understand them, so that it becomes more beautiful, it becomes more the expression becomes more meaningful, and it gives you a beautiful sense of harmony in the subject and the object. When we talk about the present is inside the box, when we talk about inside, we are not talking about just the side, we are talking about the inside the box. In the same way, they have gone out of the town. Where have they gone? Out of the town. That is really very important to make it understand that everything has a reason, and we are going to make sure the expression that we are using is correctly apt to the situation. So therefore, this is how we have to go about it. So when we're talking about prepositions, we have a lot of linguistic facts about prepositions, and let's see them. Now first, they are closed class of words, which means no new preposition gets added to the language. We use a fixed set of prepositions. So therefore, if you can get a hang of using the prepositions now, when I say getting the hang of using the prepositions, it means that I am going to use a prepositions in a format, and I will know the different ways of using the same preposition, but at the same time I will also make sure, because there is nothing that is getting added up. Right, so I have some fixed number of prepositions, and I just need to know their what is their premise, or how they can be used. So therefore, I don't have to think, or I don't have to juggle about is it going to be this or that. No, we have a fixed set. Some are called simple prepositions, some are called compound prepositions, and stuff like that, and then we place it up in together, and that is how we are going to make sure that we are going to cater to whatever it needs. So therefore, some conjunctions are basically very typical, and the usage is also limited, but at that point of time, I would like to know that I would like to tell you, and I would like you to know that if you can use your hands and look at the position of the words, it is really going to help you. If I'm saying she is living into Chennai, that does not make sense. I have to say she is living in Chennai, whereas she has dropped her ring. I cannot say in the pond, I will say into the pond. So therefore, into is generally the bottom. Okay, upon is whenever I put a beautiful shawl or a beautiful stole, I will say upon. You drape it upon my dress, or I draped it around upon my sari. That means up, on top of it, and on it. So that's how you are going to make it. She looked through the glass. So in that case, I need to make sure that the glass is not opaque and it is transparent where I can look through it. Okay, I kept the money beneath the mattress. Now if I say beneath, it means that there is something down and then I've tucked it inside. Now I'm going to say something like underneath, then I will say something in between. This is between. Okay, so from and to are basically used for the starting point of a journey and the ending point of a journey. So we need to make sure that we bring up certain things together and we basically clarify it and classify it so that we can put them and use them as an expression. So therefore, if you learn the usage of the prepositions, it is really going to be a beautiful expression that you can make while you are making your sentences, or you are speaking them or writing them or whatever it is going to make a beautiful sense. The next one that I would like to talk about is that second, prepositions do not have any other form. For example, when we were using the verbs or the adjectives, we had so many forms. For example, in an adjective, I can use like tall, taller, tallest, or when it is a verb form, I can say eat, eaten, ate. So many things I can combine together and I can use it. But it is not so in the case of a preposition, because they do not have any other form. If it is in, it is just the in. At the most, it can become into, but not more than that or lesser than that. They cannot be plural, they cannot be possessive, they cannot be inflection or anything else. So therefore, I would like to put together that we will not be able to, or we will not confuse. There is not much confusion in the whole thing. Rather, it is very, very clear, it is very, very to the point, and it is very, very the usage is very, very easy, if at all we understand the nuances of using the prepositions. If we explore the world of prepositions, I vouch for it that the expression is going to be wonderful. The way you put together some phrases and words is going to be wonderful. So therefore, third thing, most of the prepositions have many different contextual and natural uses. So it is easy to be confused about preposition. Now, that's what I said. If you know the nuances, how, for example, a word, you might find one preposition in space and in time also. So therefore, we don't have to get confused, because we know that the premise of this preposition can stretch till that point. So therefore, we don't have to get confused about it. So we just need to know that this can also be used like this, and this can also be used like this only. Clear? So you might get confused in the beginning, but by the end of this class, you will have a proper clarity as to what I am speaking and why do I say that it is not confusing, though you might get confused. When I started working on prepositions, I started making sentences with prepositions. So that gave me the scope. For example, if at all I was confused whether it has to be in front of me or before me, I just had to think in front of me is somebody who is standing opposite to me. But before me is somebody who is standing not opposite to me, but the person has turned his face to the other side. Whereas in front of me is, you can see the face at cross. When I spoke about across the sea or across the globe, we were talking about, not just crossing like this, but then how do you sail? across the river. So that's how you don't go along the river. Right. So these are some of the nonsenses that you need to learn, and then there will be no scope that you can get confused at all. Let's go forward and let's check this. Fourth one is sometimes a preposition works as a noun, an adjective, and an adverb. How do you think that they are going to work as a noun? On purpose, I did not go home. So they are, you need to understand that it becomes a part of the noun phrase is what I'm saying. I didn't say that on top of on becomes the subject, but it becomes a noun phrase which is started used in the beginning of a sentence. Prepositions can be of 1, 2, 3 or even more words. Prepositions with 2 or more words are called phrasal prepositions. So therefore, as I said earlier, you can have simple prepositions, you can have compound prepositions, you can also have phrasal prepositions. They are basically words. Now, there's one scope that can happen is that you might get, confused between preposition and adverbial phrases. So if you understand that the preposition actually works only with nouns and not with adjectives or verbs, then it will be more useful for the whole purpose. Okay, so let's see what are they, and then we will move forward. So now what are basically phrasal prepositions? Phrasal prepositions are basically because of, in case of, instead of, by way of, on behalf of, on account of, in care of, in case. I'm sorry. This is in case of, in spite of, on the side of, etc. So basically these are all the words that we are going to use, and they are going to be phrases. Now if you keep checking, you will understand that we already have two, this is a conjunction and this is basically a preposition. In this is basically a a preposition. Of is again a preposition. That goes on and forth. So we need to understand that how it is basically changing. So basically these phrasal verbs can be used as transition words, or they can also be used as adverbial phrases. But now we need to understand that the adverbial phrases are used with verbs and prepositional phrases are used with nouns. So therefore we need to understand that whenever, in case of delay, I would like to take the call. So we need to understand that whenever we are using the preposition phrases or prepositions, it is basically before a noun. It is, please be very clear that we are only trying to modify the nouns. Right? So I hope this is clear, and let's go to the next slide. Now, most of the prepositions have many uses. Now, what are the uses? There are some prepositions which are common in every type of preposition as they function in a versatile way. Now, this is what is the scope, and this is where there is a scope that you might get confused. So let's check what is it and how we can work on it. For example, when we say they can work in a versatile way, if we know that we will find some words as we go along, we will see that there are different words and different things where you will be able to see the prepositional words that are in different categories. And you might wonder that why are they in different categories? Why is it so? But basically, they cater to the other categories too. So that is nothing to get confused or surprised, but all what you need to do is that you need to understand that if you are doing this, the scope of this preposition is this much, and we can definitely use in different contexts. So therefore, there would be they would be used in a versatile way, and we should not get confused about it. So therefore, there are something called the prepositions of time, the prepositions of place and direction. the prepositions of agents or things, and the phrasal prepositions. These are basically some of the prepositions that we are going to talk about today, and we are going to learn about them. Now, before that, I would like to categorize them into three different things. They are the simple prepositions, the compound prepositions, and the phrasal prepositions. We've already seen what phrasal prepositions are. Compound prepositions are, single prepositions are words like in, to. These are basically the simple prepositions. Now, these are basically the simple prepositions which talk about the position, and they are singular in word. You will see that they are just in, to, from, by, and on. When we are talking about compound prepositions, we are going to talk about words like beneath, under, below, into, upon, underneath. Now, these are the words that are basically compound in nature, and how they are going to really work. You will see that they are a combination of two words, just not one word, they are a combination of two words. Now, before this, later we will see that we have already seen how the phrasal prepositions look like, so I don't think I have to explain it further. Now, when we talk about prepositions of time, we are going to talk about the preposition that shows the relationship between the noun, between the time, relationship of time between the noun to the other parts of the sentence. Let's check this. On, at, in, from, to, for, since, ago, before, till, until, by. All these words are basically the most common prepositions used for time, and they are basically used to talk about the connection of the subject with the object about the timing. Let's check it how. He started working at 10 o'clock. Now he stays at Hyderabad. That's also perfect. So we need to understand whenever we are using the word at. Now at, when I am using it with time, it becomes a preposition of time. But if I use at, please visit me at the hospital, and it is going to be the place. So now this at word can be used both in time as preposition of time and also as preposition of place. That's when you need to understand that you cannot get confused. Rather, we should try to reduce the peripheral and understand that this word can categorize to in different contexts. The company called meeting on 25th October. There is a holiday in December. He has been ill since Monday. Now, whenever we are using about this word, I would like to confirm that we don't use from. Okay, we have from here and it talks about the time, but we don't use from. We cannot say he has been ill from Monday. Yeah, it is a very common usage. People use it, but we are not going to use that if you do want to ace the world of prepositions. You don't say he has been ill from Monday. He has started from Agra. That makes sense because from always talks about the starting point. But here he has been on leave since Monday, or he has been on leave. We don't say from Monday, rather since Monday sounds better. But we can say he has been traveling from Delhi to Agra. Now that is a very, very good expression, because we are talking about the starting point and also the ending point of a sentence. So this is about the preposition of time, and let's go and check the words that are needed for the preposition of place and direction. And let's also check whether there are words which basically collide with the preposition of time. Prepositions of place shows the relationship of place between the nouns to the other parts of a sentence. Now, this is a wonderful way of using it, and let's see how. Now we have this on, at, in, by, from, to, towards, up, down, across, between, among, through, in front of, behind, above, over, under, below. They are all basically the prepositions of place and direction. Now, let us pick up those words which are basically found both in prepositions of time and also in prepositions of place and direction. Let's check this. See, when we are talking about on, we saw that we were using it in prepositions of time, and we also use in preposition of place. In the same way, from, to, all these words, we have already seen them both in prepositions of time and also in preposition of place. That's how I say that, when you might get confused with some of them, because they are used in both ways. Okay, so let's see some examples. He is at home. We have used this at. Please be here at 10 o'clock. And he is at home. Now the usage of 10 o'clock makes it a preposition of time, and the usage of home makes it a preposition of place and direction. Let's go to the next one. He came from England. Okay. Now when I told you, whenever you're using from or to, it always talks about the starting point and the ending point. I mean the starting point and the ending point. Now this is the starting point. He came from England. The police broke into the house. We did not say broke in the house, but rather we use broke into the house. That means not only they broke in, but they came inside, that is broke into the house. I live across the river. Now when I am saying I live across the river, that means that I am talking about the opposite direction of the river. Now the next one that goes with it is the prepositions of agents or things. Now prepositions of agents or things indicate a casual relationship between nouns and the other parts of the sentence, and let's check how. Now here we are talking about of, for, by, with, about. They are all talking about things around. They are basically talking about things or agents. Whenever I am using a word called about, I am talking about something. We are going to have a discussion on pollution. Rather than that, if we can say we are going to discuss about pollution, that makes a better sense, because when we are saying about, that means I am going to talk everything about it, that is everything related to it. So let's check some examples that can be helpful. This article is about smartphones. When I'm saying about smartphones, it means that I'm going to talk about the good things and the bad things and how it is useful and how it might not be useful. We are going to talk about that. The next one is most of the guests have already left. Now, when we are using this guest, most of the guests, now here of comes here, where we are going to talk about the things or the agents that is needed. I will always be here for you. For whom? For you. He's playing with his brother. He's playing with whom? His brother. So whenever you have a preposition, you have a preposition in the sentence, if you ask a question, you will get an answer. For example, if I say, who left? Most of the guests. Playing with whom? My brother. So this is as simple as that. So let's go to the next part. They are basically the phrasal prepositions. When we talk about phrasal prepositions, let's check how we can use them. Let's start. Now, a phrasal preposition is not a prepositional phrase, but they are a combination of two or more words which functions as a preposition. Now, these are some of the words that basically work as phrasal prepositions. Let's check them how. Along with, apart with, apart from, because of, by means of, according to, in front of, in contrary of, in contrary to, in front of, contrary to, in spite of, on account of, in reference to, in addition to, in regard to, instead of, on top of, out of, with regard to, they are all basically the phrasal prepositions. Now let's check how we can use them. Now the example. They along with their children went to Atlanta. Along with is a phrasal preposition. According to the new rules. In spite of. I'm going out of the city. Now, when we are using these phrasal prepositions, we need to understand that they can be used in different ways. Now, let us go back to each one of them and let's try to make sentences and understand it better. For example, along with. Now, whenever we have used along with here, so I don't think I would want to use it again. We have used this here. When we are using words like this, now these are basically very strong preposition phrases which cannot be changed and there is no variations that will be entertained. For example, when we are using words, when we are using this as phrasal prepositions, they are basically the uses of a conventional speaker and we need to adhere to it. We cannot change basically the structure of a sentence. That has to be kept in mind. For example, apart from her brother, none knew her whereabouts. Now, when I'm saying apart from, here I'm going to talk about that none knew her existence apart from her brother. Only her brother knew it. Okay, let's go to in front of the church. We saw her crying. Or we found her in front of the church. Now here, like you can see, This is basically a preposition phrase that we can use it to make the usage better. Let's go to the next one. Here, when we are talking about different things, you will be able to check that in this we are talking about people gathering together, they along with their children. When we are talking about apart from, we are actually dividing them, and when we are using in front of, we are talking about something that is opposite in nature. Now the next part is according to the new rules. Whenever we are talking about according to the new rules, we are talking about something that has to be adhered to. The next one is by means of. Whenever we are talking to, see, we have used this. We've used this. We have used this. We've used this. Let's use because of. Let's, okay. Now, this is also a phrasal preposition than now, but this is a noun phrase because we're talking about something more. Because of her brother, she never left Hyderabad. Now, this can be used. Now, this is basically a cause and effect sort of a thing which is used to talk about something because something happened because of something else. The next one is contrary to. When I'm talking about contrary to, contrary contrary to her nature, she pardoned whenever we are using a word like contrary to her nature. Now here we are talking about the contradiction, or we are talking about how it is how it is unusual of her. Contrary to her nature, she pardoned the thief. In this case, we are talking about a contradiction part. The next one we would like to talk about in spite of. In spite of her nature, or in spite of her meager earnings, she took care of her family. Now here also we are going to talk about something that is really less, like it is basically that regardless of her meager earnings, she took care of her family. Now here also, like when we have been doing our word building exercises, we have learned about how to basically make synonyms. In the same way, we can also make synonyms and antonyms with the prepositional phrases too. How is it? Let's learn. Now, when I'm talking about in addition to, basically I'm talking about something like moreover, additionally, in addition to her present condition, she ran into fever, or she ran into an accident, or she met with an accident. We will use it that way to make sure that already it is bad and now this has come up with it. Okay, so that's how it is. So with regard to, in regard to, when these words are used, they are basically synonyms, and they can be used in the utmost beautiful manner. So I think on top of all the mess, she still succeeded in her career or anything. Out of everything, she she made a beautiful relationship. So it's very beautiful to how you can use, and they're basically the conventional speaker methods that will sound better to a conventional speaker or a native speaker of English. So therefore, learning phrasal prepositions really makes sense, and it also makes your communication better. One thing that I would like to tell you again, reiterate, is that people generally get confused between the phrasal prepositions and adverbial phrases. Now, you will see that they look very similar, and you might also wonder as to are they basically phrasal verbs or are they adverbial phrases. In this case, we need to understand that a phrasal preposition or a preposition only can modify a noun, and a adverbial phrase will only modify a verb. So therefore that has to be very clear as to you. And sometimes the most confusing part could be then that you have both the noun and both the verb, and one particular noun, I mean a phrasal verb, preposition, or a phrasal phrase, prepositional phrase. Now phrasal phrase and prepositional phrase are two different words and not to be confused with. Now if these are phrasal prepositions, the prepositional phrases are these are basically prepositional phrases. There's a lot of difference between a prepositional phrase and a phrasal preposition. Phrasal prepositions, you have to add a noun, whereas a prepositional phrase is inbuilt with the noun. So this is a very important segregation that you need to understand, that both these things are different and they need to be treated differently. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you is about the usage of by. Whenever we say she travels by foot, now how are we supposed to be using it? Now we can also say please be available by 10 o'clock. When I'm saying by 10 o'clock, by is generally a time in the future that I'm telling you that by 10 o'clock be available. At the same time, I can also say that she travels by bus. Now, when I'm saying she travels by bus, in that case, I'm actually talking about the agent or the thing that she is using to commute. So we need to understand that by the premise of by is very large and it could be used in different ways. At the same time, I have already spoken about the usage of from. At the same time, she travels on foot, whether it is by foot or on foot. Whenever we are talking about air, we will say she travels by air or she travels by train. But when we are talking about that she travels on foot, I mean she walks, you will not say she travels by foot, but you will say, I mean by, your legs is not, your legs are not basically a mode of transport. So therefore you will have to say she walks, she goes to college on foot. That is, she uses her feet to basically travel. So these are some of the very nonsenses of using the prepositions in different ways. Now there is something else that I would like to, she's talking to a stranger and she's talking with a stranger. When she's talking to, when there are this difference between talking and speaking. When we say she's talking, that means it is a both way thing. And speaking need not be both ways. Speaking can be just one way, where the doer of the action is basically conversing. Now when I'm saying she's speaking with the principal, anywhere whenever we speak, we again the position also matters. She's standing with the principal. Now when we say talking to, the position of the person is in front, but if you want to say that she's sitting with her dad, in that case you will say that the person is basically sitting beside her. You can also use by, she's sitting by her is also a very it's a common usage, but again that is not a very modern usage. It is basically used, it's basically it's now old trend to be using by him and stuff like that. But yes, if you read some old books, you will see this usage of she's sitting by him, that is beside him. Now the usage, now if you want to talk about the synonyms of prepositions beside, by, with you can just make them synonyms and you can use them in different contexts. Okay, then one more thing that we need to understand is between and among. Whenever we are talking about between, it is between friends. In that case, we are talking about two people, but it been between us. Okay, she distributed the chocolates among themselves, among the students. So in that case we use among when we are talking about more number of people, and we are going to use between when we are talking between two people, two entities. I would like to talk about the other, words like basically between. Now here, I'm available from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock is not the right usage. We should be saying I'm available between 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So that is the right way of using the sentence. The next one is basically the usage of through. I've already said whenever the mirror is transparent, or whenever you can see the other part of it, that is when you're going to use the word through it. She peeked through the glass. That's how it is used. So there's one more thing that you would want to talk about, behind. There is somebody who is standing behind me, is facing towards me, and they are standing behind me. Next to me is somebody who is standing next to me, now next to him, beside him, by him. All the three words go together. In the same manner, when I'm saying somebody is standing behind me, that means they are facing me and they are standing behind. Somebody who is standing in front of me is facing me. Now somebody who is standing behind me and who is facing me is not opposite to me, but somebody who is standing before me and they are facing me, that is before, in front of me, is absolutely right. So we need to understand the position of the noun with the object, the subject with the object. It is very important to determine which position word to use. Now, I would like to use the verse, one more usage of she congratulated him for his success or on his success. Whenever we talk about for his success or on his success, it goes on as a debate, and till date I have never been able to satisfy everyone, all my students, with the same answer. For example, when she appreciated him on his success rather than on. It looks better, and in the same way, she congratulated. No, when I'm saying on, it seems as though the success is already here, and I'm congratulating it on it. Like she put the plate on the pot, so it is on it. So in that case, for her success looks far better than on her success. But at the same time, sometimes on the success is also used when you are basically, you had your promotion or you had your some success which requires, on top of it, she was congratulated on her promotion. So in that cases, but the cases are really rare, and further success looks far better, sounds far better, and feels far better than on her success. Now here also we are going to talk about, whenever we are saying starting from some point, we say that she has been suffering with fever from Monday. Rather than using from, since looks much finer and refined. The usage is much finer and refined. She waited until 5 o'clock. That means until 5 o'clock was rung, she was waiting there. So now what is the difference between till and until? The till and until, the usage is very, very subtle, and we really have to we really have to understand that whenever we are saying that she was praised, or she was praised till she found herself till she felt better, or something like that. And until is generally used when we are, unless something like, unless something was achieved. So this is how we are going to use the preposition of time, preposition of space, preposition of things or agents, and phrasal prepositions. Now I have also discussed with you at length about the difference between phrasal prepositions and prepositional phrase. They are not one and the same, and there is a lot of difference between the two. So please make sure that you understand that we are not talking about the same things. Okay, the next one is going to be about the you know, okay. Now, when we're talking about prepositions, you have some books. The best way to learn prepositions is basically when you can learn about using them. Practicing it more. That will really help you to understand things better. You have a lot of questions, in context questions on the application. You can definitely visit the application and then work on it and check it, so that, and use it, so that you will be much better, and it is going to be really, really well. Okay, so that's how practice makes a man perfect, and using prepositions at length, and giving it a considerable practice will definitely make you will be able to use them profusely. So that's for today. I hope the usage of prepositions and the world of prepositions was very clear and concrete. I hope you enjoyed the session and the session was informative. So therefore, thank you so much.